a one-on-one with Cleophas Malala, the Deputy Party Leader of DCP. Thank you for joining us this evening, Mr. Malala. You are among the first to raise the concerns about what was happening there at the ACK church in Othaya, and certainly about the former Deputy President's safety concerns. Can you just walk us through exactly what transpired?
Zainab, I must start by saying that today was such a horrific day. And I quickly flash back on the 2007-2008 post-election violence. And you see, since there were no survivors in the Kiambaa Church massacre, nobody is there to tell the story. For once, I felt the pain and agony that those mothers and children went through before they met their ultimate death. It was quite a horrific scene. We had just started the service, and we were barely even a third into the service. We had tear gas all over the compound, gunshots, live bullets. And when children tried to go out of the church, they met with police officers, beating them around, harassing our mothers, harassing the clergy, and even going ahead to touch our party leader's vehicle. They destroyed most of our vehicles that had parked there. And to my surprise, police officers were escorting goons using a police vehicle. The number plates have been exposed by our party leader today. And I must say that that was such a horrific moment.
So this was an unprovoked attack. At any point, nothing transpired right before this incident took place?
It was unprovoked because we left our respective houses, converged at a hotel, then went to the church. We had not even started addressing the congregants. It was simply a church service, a normal church service. And those people were impatient because they had been given orders to ensure that that church service does not go on. And I wonder, why would somebody be paranoid about people worshiping in a church? Why would a head of state be worried about people just worshiping? Congregants coming together to worship. I am talking about the head of state because I'm certain that he is the chief, the commander-in-chief, and he's the one who gave those orders. We are surprised that William Ruto has engaged the panic mode gear, having known and evaluated. You know, he's a consumer of raw intelligence. He already knows that he's a one-term president.
What brings you to...
And he has panicked. He's trying to intimidate people to support him. What
brings you to the conclusion that this was an attack that was directly a command from President William Ruto?
First of all, William Ruto is the commander-in-chief. He is briefed every morning on every incident happening in the country. And this is not the first time we are being attacked in church. Zainab, we have reported several incidences about our attacks in church. I don't know why he chooses to attack us in church. I don't know what the church did to him that he's so annoyed when we go to the church to pray to our Lord. I want to remind you that in 2024 November, in Limuru, goons were sent to attack our party leader in a church service. In Shamata in 2024, in Mwiki PCA Church. You remember, even in Narok during the by-elections, in Kakamega, when I was going to launch the DCP party, and several other incidences have been happening. We report to the police, we report to IPOA, to no avail of success.
Let me ask you, there have been a number of responses from the government with regard to today's incidents. We have the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. He says he's since held discussions with the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, for a comprehensive investigation to be conducted. We have the National Police Service as well. They have issued a statement there. And even a statement from the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki as well. If I can just, let me just bring up that statement from Professor Kithure Kindiki. He says, violence, whether organized by political opponents, by self for sympathy, or by whoever for whatever purpose, it is a criminal act that undermines our democracy and violates the freedom of assembly and of worship guaranteed by law. When you look at all these statements that have come out today in light of that, yet you say you do not believe or trust that the police will investigate itself. So what recourse do you have then?
I think those statements are simply acts of hypocrisy. You know, you cannot do a PR statement on your Facebook handle or your Twitter handle and expect that we or Kenyans believe in that statement. We have reported this matter. Let Murkomen tell the country what has he done about the incidences that we have been reporting. I want to believe that this government is not serious about implementing policies of police brutality. You remember during the Gen Z protests? Up to now, no case has been investigated to completion. We lost lives in this country. People died. Young people died in the streets. The president gave a PR statement, said that he's going to investigate, and anybody who is found guilty is going to face the consequences of law. Today, as we speak right now, the DIG, Langat, who was alleged to have killed somebody in police cells, he's now a preferred candidate to take over as the IG. So William Ruto is not serious about implementing policies that will regulate police brutality. We want Murkomen to tell us what has he done so far. And if you want to know the level of competency that Murkomen is suffering from, even in his office, in the office of the Minister of Interior, somebody walked in at night, ransacked the entire office, and walked out free, up to now.
I think that's a case that's in investigation, under investigation at this point.
But you see...
I don't want us to digress, right?
You see, this shows the level of incompetency we have in the CS of Interior. Mm-hmm. How many months have lapsed since our Gen Zs lost their lives? Mm-hmm. We have reported 16 incidences of police brutality against our party and our party leader. What has the police done? So we are asking the country to know that we do not have any credible leadership that is steering this country.
I want us to go back a little bit because there was a bit of a confusion during the incident. Earlier today, you went on to publicly state that Mr. Gachagua had been abducted by unknown individuals amid the tear gas. Yet a little later, he himself came out publicly and said that he was safe at his Wamunyoro home. What information did you have to come up with that? When the tear gas was lobbed inside the church, everybody ran in his own direction for his own safety. I was in the bush. I saw Gachagua being whisked away, and I had to say that statement so that in case anybody had tried to imagine or contemplated to imagine doing such an act, then we wanted our party leader safe. I did not know where he was. We tried calling his phone calls. They were not going through. We tried calling his bodyguards. We were not able to get through. And after 3 hours, he was able to tell us, come on, guys, I am home safe and no cause of alarm. But you see, in that chaos, in that scenario, everybody was running and trying to ensure that our party leader and ourselves are safe first. And I had to raise that alarm to the public. That the last time I saw our party leader, I saw 3 people whisking him away. But Mr. Malala, that's a grave allegation. Don't you think it is irresponsible to raise a false alarm on the abduction of a leader of the stature of a former deputy president.
It is alarming and irresponsible for police officers to cause violence inside the church. So we cannot even start discussing about a statement by Malala if we have not adjudicated the very act of police officers tear-gassing children at the altar. You saw, we even had to borrow robes from the clergy, the choir uniform, for us to escape through the hind doors. And therefore, what we are saying is that let us not divert attention from the key issue. Government has sponsored bloggers to perpetrate a narrative that we stage managed this attack. Then you ask yourself, how then can we stage manage such an act using police officers? Where do civilians get tear gas? Are tear gas sold in Gikomba? Are tear gas sold in Naivas? No, and therefore Kenyans are looking at such narratives and confirming to themselves that indeed we have an incompetent leadership in this country.
All right, Mr. Malala, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation and really dig deeper into some of these concerns and allegations that have been raised here today. Stay with us. We're going to be back in a short while. Mr. Malala, I mean, this is not the very first time that the former deputy president has mentioned about an attempt on his life. He's said that several times. What does this speak to when you look at the political landscape in our country, specifically with regard to respect for differing opinions and diverse political views?
First of all, we must remind Kenyans that the people's deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, his security was withdrawn. As we speak right now, he has no security. He's using civilians to protect him. You send people, armed police officers, armed goons, to his events. You expect him to protect himself with what mechanism? So all these attacks are meant to assassinate Rigathi Gachagua. It's not a joke. Kenyans on social media, some of the rogue bloggers of this regime are joking with this matter. But until when you will see a goon holding a firearm, pointing at you, that is when you'll know that whatever you're joking with is, or would rather spark into a violent incident. And I want to say that the sustained attacks on our party leader and the opposition in general, and the citizens who are supporting our school of thought, is a precursor to a genocide or post-election violence in 2027. William Ruto has gotten into the realm of beginning to imagine that he will use the same tactics the Uganda president used, that he will use the same tactics the Tanzanian president used to retain power. We want to tell them that Kenya is a mature democracy. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in democracy, and the citizens of Kenya will not sit back and watch as their country is being run down.
And sadly, very serious allegations there. But I go back to the question where I ask, do you have perhaps then plans for any legal redress to address this, if you do believe truly that the police is not independent to investigate this matter once and for all?
We have raised these incidences with IPOA, with the police, to no avail of success. We shall be calling upon, and Kalonzo Musyoka and even my party leader today insinuated that we shall be calling upon the international community to come into this matter, because we are unable to safeguard our sovereignty as a nation. We need to call upon the international community to come and call out the president. Sometimes, Zainab, I pensively sit in my living room and listen to our president, and I experience what I always experience when I remember the hyperbolic expression that insinuates a corpse in a hearse driving itself to the graveyard. We do not have leadership. Our country is on autopilot. And I want to believe that it's a high time we invoke Article 144 of the Constitution that details on how a president can be removed from office on account of mental incapacity. I want to believe.
Those are very...
No, but I have a right.
Serious. That's a very serious
I have a right.
To make.
I have a right as a citizen of this country.
What makes you make that statement?
To believe. Because look at how the country is being run. As we speak right now, capitation money has not been released to schools. The one that has been released is to pay the pending bills for last year. The president wakes up one day in the morning, gives a presidential direction that all students go to school with or without school fees, without uniform, not considering the principals who are under pressure from suppliers. Yet, you know very well, as a government, you've not released monies to the institution. You've seen Ruto has sustained attacks. You remember, NTV journalists were attacked. Ruto has attacked everybody. He is a merchant of war. I can tell you for free. Because you remember, children, young children of Butere girls who are acting a simple play about how he is mismanaging this country were mated with violence. He doesn't care. So long as you are opposing him, he retaliates in violence. And therefore, we are worried. We are worried as a country.
So where do you think, what is the core of the matter really?
Bad leadership, insensitive leadership.
It's it's not just about the hunt for the Mount Kenya vote?
Mount Kenya has moved on. Let Ruto forget about Mount Kenya. The mountain has moved on. William Ruto lied to the people of Mount Kenya with deceitful politics. They are a conscious community. As we speak right now, it is certain that William Ruto is not going to get anything tangible to make him a second-term president from Mount Kenya. Recently, you saw him hyping himself that he has taken control of the northern eastern. Whatever has ignited this violence today is whatever Rigathi Gachagua brought out in daylight, that the northeastern MPs are misappropriating funds, and he has got he got overnight popularity in the northern eastern. You saw, for the first time, we saw the president's aide plus the leader majority flying to Mandera to try and to Marsabit to try and calm things down, and then they do their politics there and their optics. Then they fly back. They refused to sleep in the hotels of Mandera because the hotels had no water. They refused to spend a night there because Mandera had shortage of electricity. So this hypocritical leadership must be called out. And I want to tell Kenyans that there is hope. We have leaders who can fight for their rights. We have a united opposition. We have Rigathi Gachagua. We have Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and others, energetic leaders who are out to ensure that Kenya is protected against this bad leadership.
Speaking of the united opposition, just looking at the DCP party itself, I mean, we've already seen a number of leaders break ranks. One of them, we've seen the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kahiga, who recently reaffirmed his support for President Ruto, the Githunguri MP, Gathoni wa Mushamba, Maragwe MP, Mary wa Maua. What's happening at DCP?
Zainab, all those people you are mentioning are elected members of UDA. To start with, they are not in DCP. They have never been registered as members of DCP.
But they've always been in support of DCP from the beginning.
Those were moles being sent by William Ruto to try and come and destabilize our ship so that we can capsize. I want to tell you, William Ruto is using Mount Kenya leaders to fight their own. Like today in the morning, we have evidence, and we've even presented it to the relevant authorities, that the goons who are planning this violence had breakfast in Honorable Eric Wamumbi's house.
You have that evidence?
We have evidence, and we've already forwarded to the relevant authorities. This reminds me of a statement or of a scenario in the autobiography of Odinga Oginga, Not Yet Uhuru, You remember we had these home guards. You want to say the likes of Eric Wamumbi and his wife are the modern day home guards of Mount Kenya because they are betraying their own. How can you plan violence for your own son? Immediately after they finished the violence, they went back to his home. The wife, Betty, cooks lunch for them. Surely. So William Ruto is misusing Mount Kenya leaders to fight their own. That is why the police officers who are being used and who are leading this operation are security officers attached to Betty Maina. One John Maina Birash. We even gave out his telephone number to the public. He is a police officer attached to Betty Maina, who is the woman rep of he has been there in all the instances.
How did you get that information?
We saw him. There are clips. There are clips, and we have people who have photographed and documented the incidences. The same person is the one who led the Narok violence when we had the Narok town by-elections. The same person is the one who led violence against our party leader and our party members when we went to Kagio. The same person has been given a special force. We want to ask Murkomen, before you start saying that you are investigating, how can we be attacked in a church which is located 100 meters away from the police station? The police officers who came to attack us are not members of Othaya sub-county command. Those police officers are from Muranga, headed by the security guard for Betty Maina. We've raised that issue time and again. So Murkomen, spares your rhetorics and ensure that that person, John Maina Birash of telephone number 0712 791 601, is apprehended.
Okay, so look, these are very pertinent issues that you've raised today and several other times before, but there certainly needs to be some corrective measures, right? You cannot always speak on this and nothing really happens. There needs to be some sort of policy reforms. I want to ask you, as the DCP deputy party leader, what do you propose to end the weaponization of state institutions and perhaps promote fair play in the political landscape then?
First of all, the first change that we should have is to remove this regime from power. That is one. Second, we must have drastic changes in the police service. I thought that when they brought in the police reforms some years back, they rode on a platform of changing from the police force to a police service. But nothing has been done and no gains have been activated since then. To me, we are contemplating, is it time we start thinking of having the police force devolved down to the counties in terms of service, so that let the children of Kakamega be employed as police officers in Kakamega. I am sure if today I go to Kakamega, my brother will not meet such violence knowing that I am his blood. But this issue of taking police officers from Rift Valley, right now, we demand for an audit of all the transfers that have been done ahead of the elections. We are getting police officers from Rift Valley being deployed to Central Region so that they can be used to meet violence against the people of Mount Kenya. Yeah. We want to tell, we have proof, and this has been occasioned by, first of all, William Ruto transferring his head of presidential convoy, motorcade, to be the director of operations in the police. Who does that? The head of presidential motorcade. He's the one who has been appointed as the head of operations. He is now transferring intentionally officers from the Rift Valley community, his community, taking them to Mount Kenya. And we are going to ask for an audit of all the transfers between 2025 to 2027.
All right. And you call for a regime change, but this has happened in other administrations before, during the Kibaki administration, during the Uhuru administration, during the Moi administration. So what What makes you think that things are going to change?
First of all, we have experienced the worst leadership since independence. During Kibaki time, during Uhuru time. In fact, William Ruto was the most, in the history of Kenya, insubordinating deputy president that Kenya has ever had. Yet, Uhuru Kenyatta never treated him the way he has treated Rigathi Gachagua. So what we are saying that this regime is wrong, and the only thing that Kenyans are hopeful that we are remaining with less than 17 months to take this regime home. And we are certain, and we are working hard. There has been a lot of attempts to try and buy leaders from the opposition, to try and bribe leaders from the opposition with tokenism. William Ruto believes that every solution is found by buying leaders, by giving tokens to leaders. Raila Odinga, just a moment, Zainab. Raila Odinga, after the Gen Z demonstration, they had an agreement with William Ruto that gave birth to the broad-based government. That agreement was on the foundation of implementing the 10-point agenda. Raila was very specific. First, on top of that list was the compensation of Gen Z victims who died. Right now, William Ruto has set aside that document, and now he thinks if he wants to make Raila happy in his grave, let him appoint the widow. We want to ask William Ruto, if you are in the process of appointing widows, Jirongo left 3 widows. Up to today, those widows have not been appointed, and they are fighting for land. Their land has been grabbed by somebody we know in this country.
Well, he's made dozens of other high-profile appointments. Why zero in on this particular one?
But why not prioritize that which Raila Odinga prioritized?
All right.
Raila Odinga, if he wanted his wife to be appointed, he would have done that. But Raila believed in exercising
But she has accepted
justice.
that appointment.
I'm talking about Raila Odinga, not Ida Odinga. I'm telling you the beliefs of Raila Odinga, because Ruto wants to extract political capital out of that appointment. But I want to tell them that we need, lastly, to have an audit of all the violent incidences that have occurred in Kenya since this reign began. We want to be told, you saw that even this violence is not limited within the jurisdiction of our borders. We are even exporting violence to other countries. You saw an aeroplane was shot down, and NTV, the one which exposed that scandal, there was a plane that was shot down exporting firearms to go and fund war, to kill women and children in South Sudan. And we are saying, in Sudan I mean, we are saying that we need to have an audit of all the violent incidences and call upon the country to know that we have a rogue leadership that we need to wipe it out come the next election.
Very grave allegations. You're saying that you propose a national inquiry into all these things. All right. Thank you, Mr. Cleophas Malala, the Deputy Party Leader, DCP, for joining us and having this conversation with us. We'll take another short break.